episode of Muse of the Month. I have one of the most talented, inspirational, stubborn, ambitious, delightful, beautiful people I've ever met in my life.
Wow. Thank you.
Miss IDAP Solutions.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop with you.
Why? I threw a little.
No. But then you threw a jab in there too.
Yeah, I gotta. This is gotta keep you balanced.
Very you.
You're a real power puncher, so sometimes I gotta throw a jab in there. How you doing?
No, I'm doing good.
How was today?
Today was awesome. This was a good day.
I really never even stressed to my team how many don't make me have a shoot like this conversations we had.
Oh God. Mm-hmm.
But I think we pulled it off.
I think you did a wonderful job. And very professional. Your team was delightful to work with. I had a good time. It did not feel stressful at all.
You charmed everybody.
Did I?
I mean, everybody.
My job was to make me feel comfortable.
So, as we kind of dive into that charm and that ability to be like just work a room, I think we start with what you do.
Okay.
Because that's going to inform people more so about who you are and why you are the way you are.
Okay.
So I don't think you could be put in a box, but for the most, I guess, front page thing you do is you own your own branding and printing shop.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
For how long? It's called IDAP Solutions. If you don't know, you should know.
So sometimes I forget to explain to people what I love acronyms. So IDAP Solutions stands for Innovative Design and Printing Solutions. Started off as a t-shirt shop, and it grew and grew and grew. I was told in the beginning that, there's a t-shirt shop on every corner in Atlanta, and that was not my business or my concern. So it evolved into now branding. So people come to me for branding needs. So if you already have a company and you want to be able to display your brand everywhere, that's my job. That's what I do.
So I think the most, the easiest way to confirm how true that is since we've been here, 3 people have walked in with your prints on and didn't know you did it.
Then I'm doing my job.
So for everybody who's unfamiliar, all of our HBUC merch, Shea print, except for one. I did one little sample because Shea don't do samples.
I can now. I can do samples now. I feel comfortable with doing samples now.
Okay.
Yes. But new equipment. One
she didn't do, and she been eyeing it all day. Somebody have on a sample shirt today.
And that's okay. I always like feeling, touching, and seeing. I wouldn't say competition. I would say other people's technique. I want to see other people grow. It's enough room for everybody in any industry where everybody's thinking that they should be the only person on the block. I think it's room to generate revenues for everybody. And I think of my company as you would your doctor. Everybody is not going to go to every printer, so it becomes your preferred or your selected printer, and that's what I've become. Because I do make sure that the people who are my clients, you can call me anytime. I go the extra mile. If it's not right, I go above and beyond to make, mistakes are going to be made, but to clean those mistakes up fairly quickly and not give the person hassle about it. I feel like you could spend your money anywhere. The fact that you decide to spend your money with me is very special. And I have to reiterate that to my staff all the time. And even with your shirts, I got into everybody's ass. If you spending money, is this something that you would be okay?
I'm like, Shea, please don't first say.
Oh, no. I'm everybody from my son to everybody feels the wrath, and they understood that now it's not just replacing the shirts, is you're going to expect to be paid like you got paid before when you did it the first time. So when you saw this come off the line, why you didn't stop? It was 2 or 3 people that was supposed to check that. This will never happen again because the next time it's coming out of your paycheck. First time on me, second time on you.
She bought a business, right? But I think what the undertone just in this short span of this interview is you don't fear, 1, you don't fear competition. 2, you don't fear what other people perceive as something that can't work. and you also don't fear correction of yourself and of your team. How do you what do you feel like that comes from, where in a time where so many people are unsure of themselves and what they want to do and how to do it, you just seem like you don't have a doubt in your mind no matter what decisions you have to make?
I want people to come back. It's the difference between somebody being nitpicky and being an asshole and somebody truly feel like they haven't got the product that they paid for. And I remind the people on my team that as a consumer and you purchase goods, and I've told the guys this who wrap and installations for me. You've never went to a car dealership and as you're buying your brand new car, which every product that comes through the shop is brand new, and the guy tells you, you're going to eventually get door dings. Take this one. You're going to be like, hell no. You're going to eventually have crumbs in your car. So you might as well take this dirty one. So why on earth would you give somebody something that's subpar, who has went to work, who has had customers, who has worked very hard for their money? Why would you give them anything that you wouldn't accept yourself? And that's the golden rule that I live by. And communication, if you don't feel like it's right, I want to make it right. And I don't want to drag my feet about making it right with you. I want to get it done, and people can appreciate that. And I tell the girls in the office, it's not because everybody freezes up when they make a mistake. Look, it's not in your mistakes, it's in making it right in your correction. We needed to make it right as fast as we can so nobody gets inconvenienced. That's a big deal to me.
I strongly feel like now it's a whole lot of stuff wrong with education and the educational system now. I think we got to put customer service as a mandatory class to graduate. Like, I don't know if it needs to be every year in high school, if it needs to be in college, but that mentality of principles of customer service seems to be lost, and I think that's why it sticks out so much.
Well, I think people are taking it personal. Like, it's a personal attack on them. It's not personal. It's a person wanting the product that they paid for. It's one thing, like I said, for somebody to switch up and be unreasonable, but it's another thing for your expectations and the other person's expectations and managing expectations. So what do we get in school? It seems like it's not fun. It's a lot of battling between teachers, students, and parents. A lot of things that has been taken out that we had once upon a time is just, I don't think that they have brought the fun back into school, and everybody is so scared to offend somebody, or they want to check somebody, or the attention has gotten off of the education. It's so many other things that they're concerned about. Kids, sexuality, and all this other stuff. They're not allowing them to be kids. They're not allowing them to teach these basic fundamentals to go out into the real world. And by the time they realize what they missed, it's too late. We already in it. We already in the real world. Like, everybody expects when they go out of college that there's going to be somebody standing at the end of you getting your degree, a job. That's not the case. You're finding out that all this money that you spent on school, the reality is nobody is like fighting for your attention. Nobody cares.
You used the car analogy. You used to work on cars or sell cars.
I was an auto show product specialist and what some would see as a model.
Oh, I hate when you try to act like you wasn't a model, like you not a model.
No, I modeled for a time. I did stuff for Pantene and Revlon, but what I realized about those careers is you're a meat rack. And that's not what I wanted to be. I started off as a Dodge squad girl, hanging out trinkets and stuff like that. But I knew about cars, and I picked up quickly.
You know about cars very well.
Yeah.
A lot about cars.
For some reason, people felt like it was my passion, but it was a means to an end. It was lateral moves to get to another place to make sure I took care of my son and myself.
Did you always know that you wouldn't do that forever?
I hated the car industry. It is very a bunch of, for lack of a better word, a bunch of chiefs and no Indians. Everybody, shit rolls downhill. Everybody is very, to a degree, mean and demeaning, and it's very stiff and very corporate, and I did not like it at all.
So when you started printing, was that a means to an end? Did you plan to be in it this long and to still be doing
I've
it?
never planned anything in my life. I just kept happening by chance and floating in different industries. So as far as printing was concerned, I always been a craft person. My parents bought me make and do. That's why it's so important to nurture these things in our kids, their creativity. And that's what my mom did. She always bought me little paint sets and stuff like that, never thinking that it would evolve into a success as far as a business or a career is concerned, but it was something that I always would float back to, from rhinestone and tennis shoes and cell phones and all kind of stuff. I always kept gravitating towards my creativity.
What are your biggest pain points in your specific industry?
It's a very detail oriented. The pain points, I really don't have any complaints because I've grown to a point now where I pretty much have my logistics under control. It's when it comes to staff, them not understanding, where I'm coming from, and making that balance of not being a per se mean person and being very abrupt. I find myself being very short and harsh at times, and that's the problem. The clients, so much, I have great clients, so I really don't have that much of an issue, but just always snapping people back in place and getting them back together, and people doing dumb shit, and I have to clean up their situation. So that's probably about it.
I have a shirt that says "Forgive me, that's my passion talking."
Okay.
It comes from
Gonna
a
have to make that
Farrakhan
one.
clip, and it comes from a Jay-Z lyric. But I literally, I think entrepreneurs, not even just entrepreneurs, because you could be an entrepreneur and not own the company. I think people think entrepreneur necessarily means boss. I don't necessarily subscribe to that. But I think when you're the leader of a company,
Okay.
your focus level has to be so high that a lot of times how you say stuff doesn't rate with your list of priorities.
No, it's not. I have to tell them to get out of the emotion of what I'm saying and get into the message. But my mom taught me that. I got out of, she's so harsh sometimes and so hard. And I had to separate the message from the tone.
The delivery.
Yeah, the delivery. I'd be like, man, your delivery sucked. But once I got past the delivery part, then I could see clearly. So I have to tell people in my stuff, you hurt my feelings. Look, get past the delivery. I need you to get into the message and get out of your feelings. So I've been called the robot before. I've been called a whole bunch.
I've been called an asshole.
Yeah.
One of my mentors used to always say, the people that love you will listen to what you say, not how you say it. And I think I really agree with that, but I know sometimes that's dismissive because people feel like you're just saying, oh, you should be able to talk to me any kind of way. No, what I'm saying is you know very well what the intent of the conversation is.
Oh, you saying the other way around. So the person who delivering the message, it comes from a place of love.
No, if I'm delivering a message to you, right, and you love me, and I say, can't you just go do whatever? You know, in the midst of what's going on, that I'm not saying that because I'm trying to disrespect you.
So you think the person who receiving it should be able, now I don't think that
If they know you.
I can't agree with that. I can't, because I feel like the people who love you the most sometimes are the most sensitive. Like my son know that I'm not out to get him,
say
but
they
sometimes
should be, not that they are.
Okay, I'm about to
Not
say
that
it
they
should
are.
be. I got you. All right.
Because I think a lot of times too, the people that love you actually think you're supposed to do more in the sense of painting your delivery a certain way than you would to a stranger. But like, I'll give you a prime example. Reggie's here on set. Everybody know me and Reggie been friends for 20 years.
Okay.
In the midst of the war, me and Reggie can get in a shouting match. We know there's a goal or a problem right here, but it's not a personal problem. Once we are done with whatever's going on, we can go get in the car, go play basketball, go do everything. Like,
But that's because you have that established. I'm quite sure it took some time to get to that, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the love in it.
But how many times in the beginning were y'all like, I'm through with him. I ain't fooling with him no more. Or Reggie?
I don't think we ever really
Oh,
had
no?
those.
Okay.
I don't think we ever, because it's never. I don't. When I don't mess with you, or if I really want to disrespect you, what I realize is there's nothing more hurtful than silence.
I agree with that.
So I don't yell when I'm mad. I yell when I'm passionate or I'm trying to get something done. When I'm mad, I'll start talking to you. I
I think
talk
that
to you
might be
very calmly.
easier for men. I think sometimes
Hey, don't get me
women
wrong.
are a little bit more sensitive than that. Now, the only person that I know that can take a good punch is my sister. I literally can tell her to shut the F up and she'll be like, okay.
I also think while you say women could be more sensitive, nobody has a sharper tongue than a woman.
Yeah, but everybody can dish it out, but everybody can't take it. I don't have any problem
Are you
with
sensitive?
no, I'm not.
Incoming, not on.
No, not incoming.
So your sister, your mom, and basically the two women closest to you, all y'all kind of have like this
Similar
this
personality.
sternness. Those the people that really love you.
Yeah, I mean, now I had to grow to that. At one point, I would have told my mama, why you gotta say it like that? You know, I mean, my mom said to me one time, and this is her and my her and my dad. My mom is really my best friend, and she was going back and forth fussing about something with my dad, and I said, man, y'all should just get a divorce and be done with it. And she said, you get you a husband before you tell me how to get rid of one. And I was like, well, damn.
Cut kind of deep.
Well, all right. Don't tell me nothing about this man no more then. But I mean, it's stuff like that. In the midst of her being very irritated with him, and they've been married 60 years, she came back
Still
so
gonna defend her
cool.
marriage.
You was just talking trash about him 10 minutes ago, lady. But I mean, it's nothing. Only thing that really bothers me now is if you late with my bread. If I got a payment coming, like I'm gonna call you and call you
I pay
and
on
call
time.
you. I will call you 3 times a day with no ego about it.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I know I called you at about noon, but I just want to make sure we wrap this up.
So you just gave me a great segue.
Oh
You know
God,
that,
here
right?
we go.
No, you just gave me a great
Let
segue.
go.
So your mom told you get a husband before you tell me how to get.
Okay, come on with it. Come on.
How hard is it being you as successful and driven and direct as you are? How hard is it to date?
Dating isn't hard. It's
Real dating.
I don't think it's hard. I think what people see and what
On
they
your show?
have.
Or you talking about just in
Just
general?
period, in general. I think what they see and what they envision and what they fantasize about, and then I open my mouth and they be like, ooh, I wouldn't
Ain't know all that was in there.
But in a relationship, I have no problem with being very feminine and very soft. My issue come with a lot of men are sassy, and I'm not. First of all, you're not gonna get behind the steering wheel of a Ferrari and you can't even drive. That's my problem. I don't have no problem. I come from a home with a man that led, and it's not that I'm so far from that and I don't know how to step back and be a lady and I don't know how to be quiet. But a lot of these men, whether it be black, white, or whatever, have their thought about being a man, and I don't agree with it. And I'm not saying you got to pay all the bills and you got to do all this. I'm just talking about just being a man and not getting so wrapped up into social media and what other people are saying you have to be, because times have changed, right? Once upon a time, you could survive with one income, and things have very much changed where, cable might have been 10, 15 bucks. Now cable is $200. You can't live without internet. You can't live without a cell phone. There are some necessities that once upon a time weren't necessities. Car insurance here in Atlanta costs just as much as a car note. So how can you expect to put all that on one person's back and sit back and get your nails painted and cross your legs and think that that's fair for one person to bear the brunt of that? That's not fair. But what I am finding is when I say men are sassy, they're messy. They, they don't, it's like men have become, we switch places, like trading places with Eddie Murphy. They have become messy. They have wanting to play video games. Their focus not on point. And they want to be in a club. These are 50-some-year-old men that I have seen and witnessed that want to put on a movie for people.
So you think it's more so where society is? It has nothing to do with kind of the business side of you or the ambitious side of you or the tough side of you. It's more so just society is kind of turned on its head.
I mean, come on. Well, I can count the number of pictures my dad took where now you look on the internet and men are powdered up and they're taking all these pictures. Like my dad might have took a picture that somebody captured him, and I'm not talking about it being your business. I'm talking about men posing on Instagram
They
and
want to be bad bees.
they want to be baddies. I don't like it.
I can see that.
I don't like it.
But I also could see in this same era, it's a whole bunch of men that look at you as an attractive, beautiful woman and like, hey, you don't got to work. You can stay home and you can do all of this
Who
stuff
do
too.
that? Where they do that at?
At least promising it.
Yeah, no.
Would you do it?
No.
So do you think that plays a part? Like my mom is a career woman, right? My mom and my dad are both hard workers, but they work differently.
Okay.
My dad's more blue collar. My mom is more of the corporate medical side. But my mom, I don't care, probably now because she's ready to retire. But my whole life, you could have put $1 million in front of my mom and she was still going to work. You could have put $1 million in front.
You have to have some self-worth and some value. You have,
I know that's what it was. Cause like my mom was married and she's married now. I love her husband now. But it's in a lot of ways her second husband was on paper everything that made sense. Right? Financially, they had a good relationship, good friendship, all of these things. I think their breaking point was she was more ambitious and wanted to kind of maintain the self-worth that came with her job and her career.
The same thing that attracted him to her.
Whereas he was like, okay, I'm cool with all of that, but now we got to move over here for my job. And she was like, I don't care how much your job make. I'm not just getting up and moving for the sake of following you.
And there wasn't a compromise.
No.
Did he even attempt to have a compromise?
No. I think his compromise was, okay, I'll see you on the weekend.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Which I think is, I'm
Did it
like
work
that.
out?
No. But I'm like that.
Okay.
I'm like that I also, again, this is 20 years ago. I think it's times have changed. I don't think, I'm probably home half of the month now, regardless. So to me, it don't really matter where I live.
I mean, but now you could also get a $50, $25 ticket to pop in on somebody and see him. It's cheaper for me to fly home to Michigan than to drive across town.
Yeah.
So it's not that far-fetched that you can travel.
I also wouldn't do a housewife. I don't care if I was Warren Buffett.
I don't think anybody can do a housewife. I think it's it's a pipe dream that people then sold to people, because you can't tell me any one of these women who are on Housewives that are bullshit. It's bullshit. It's a bullshit dream being sold to these girls, because at the end of the day, it's only so many bags you can buy. It's only so many lunches you can go to, and dinners and bullshit like that. You have to do something.
You gotta have.
You have to. Come on, man.
Something.
I've never seen anybody, a bag or a car or whatever is temporary happiness. If somebody is freeloading off of you, eventually you're going to get sick of them. How does it go? For every beautiful woman, there's a man sick of her shit. Same thing, vice versa.
So what keeps you in Atlanta? Because you have such a broad perspective, and you have a business that you could pretty much drop your function anywhere and people are going to need it.
I don't think so.
I think so.
First of all,
I think your industry is more suitable to move around than mine is.
I have big machinery and equipment. It's a whole different.
But what I'm saying is your services. If somebody say, "Hey, we'll pick your shop up and move it to Texas," I think you get the same level of clientele
I don't
anywhere.
think so.
Really?
I think the relationships that I've built here and the
Okay, so
doors
it's a
that I've
relationship
opened, let's take Nick, for example. I met Nick when let's see, probably about 2000, it had to be 10 when I was over at the Port of Sanford. Now Nick has leveled up and grown into a whole different stage versus where he started over at the rec center. Now Nick is running things, and the relationship because of him and the exposure he gives me, this is 10, 15 years in the making. I can't go to another city and get what
You would have to start
I've
over.
planted and built in Atlanta. You know, I got the gift of gab, but I don't even have to go out anywhere. I've never, as much as I do branding for people, I've never branded my own company. It's always been through word of mouth. That's why when I have all these people calling me and saying, well, would you like, no, I don't need to be branded. Word alone out there and the product and what I bring to the table is enough. I couldn't go to Texas or anywhere. Who am I in Texas? Who is she? We don't know her. But we do know John, who has been a part of the community for 15 plus. We know he's going to do. We know he's going to show up on time.
We know his kids.
We know his
kids know my kids.
Yeah, and that's what I sell I employ people in the community here in Atlanta. So it pisses me off when they are bidding and doing stuff out of state because I spend my dollars in the community. I employ people in the community. I employ young Black men and women, and I will fight with them to the end for them to get their shit together. Because for me, this may not be where their forever home as far as a career is concerned, but this is boot camp to go on to the next level. So when you tell people, I work for a lady that will kick your ass and you will come into whatever job already equipped.
So, hot topics.
Oh God, here we go.
Oh, this the work side.
Okay.
What makes a good entrepreneur?
Oh, what makes a good entrepreneur? A person who accepts that the journey is going to be hard. You're going to go after whatever it is that you're looking for. There's going to be a lot of no's and a lot of disappointments, but you get up the next day as if the disappointments never happened. I mean, you're going to get your teeth kicked in on a regular, but you know, you go back in it to the next project or to the same project as if it was the first day. You got to keep that same energy going day after day after day. And believe me, I done cried, I done boo-hooed, I done snot, I done gave up. And then I'd be like, I'm going to go back in tomorrow.
I go to work.
Oh, God.
What makes a good client?
A person who knows what they want. That makes a great client that has direction and structure.
What makes a good employee?
Somebody that's coachable. Somebody who listens. I know it's hard to follow direction, to be able to implement your ideas or insert your ideas or being assertive to a certain degree. So I have to tell them sometimes I appreciate, you know, the fact that you're trying, but before you move forward, consult with me first. So it might have been something that I went through, but let's talk about it. I'm welcome to ideas, but you know, just the fact that people even try or being interested in the work in front of them.
I say good initiative is half the battle. Good information is the other half of the battle. So if you don't feel like you have enough good information, don't take too much initiative. Go get the information.
Right.
And if you feel like you have a lot of good information, you know everything, you know how everything works in here, then you need to take a little bit more initiative. And I think that's how you get to a great.
And people nobody has an excuse nowadays because I say the cell phone is the most dangerous thing ever. You can ruin somebody's life or you can upgrade your own. All the information is right there at your fingertips. And if people don't use these tools that we have, then what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Great people are normally hard on themselves. How do you grade yourself and still be fair to yourself, personally and professionally? You specifically.
Man, I can't even say I beat myself up. I really do. To the point sometimes that I don't even sleep. And then if I find myself going down a rabbit hole, I have to check myself. But I have my Northwest is my mom, and I will run everything by her. I talk to her at least 2 or 3 times a day. She is my best friend. So she'll tell me to crank it in, reel it in. You need to forgive yourself. You got to let that go. Her biggest thing is stress will kill you. And I will wear myself down. I'll replay something over and over in my head. I'll play it back. I'll run it back until I get it off my plate. I'm probably my worst critic, and I'm hardest on myself than anybody. Yeah.
Which part is harder to self-correct? The professional side or the personal side?
I think it's about they all morph into one. I've never had a problem with admitting I'm wrong. I've never had a problem with apologizing to somebody. I never had a problem with course correction. And I think that's why I've been so successful, because it'll be a cleanup on aisle 6 quick and in a hurry. I jab back and forth with you, but the moment that you let me know that something was wrong, I immediately got it fixed. The day you said you wanted it in hand, we made sure we had it to you in hand.
Even though I was joking.
But I wasn't.
I know.
Because I never, for me, it's always said that Black people give each other subpar service. And I always go after making everybody, each one of my clients, feel like they are rock stars. I have this knack for making everybody that walks through my door, whether you're doing 1 shirt or you're doing 10,000 shirts, make everybody feel like they're special. So it's very hard unless somebody is. Now, I'll give a person what they got coming. Believe me, I'll give it to you stock, lock, and barrel.
You ain't got to prove it to me.
Yeah, so I don't have any problem with that. But if you are dead in the wrong, I will get you. And if you are right, I have no problem with submitting and saying, you got it. What can I do to make this better? So, yeah.
What would you tell your young you?
Stop stressing so much.
Even then.
Even then. I spent, and I fight for this now at 50, right? So I spent my 20s being miserable and sad and going through the whole thing about having my son out of wedlock and what people would think, and just beating the shit out of myself. My 30s, I came here and got into a less desirable relationship, but just never feeling, aside from that, the personal side, never feeling like I am where I was supposed to be. You look around, and I feel so sorry for the kids now, because social media is putting lies in their face to compete with other people. So just even then, just being on myself about, I should be so much further. Everything happens when it's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen. And everything that you think is bad for you isn't necessarily bad for you. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't beat myself up as much. I would just be like, just take it down a notch. Your stars are aligned. It's going to happen in the time that it's supposed to happen in, and you can't make it happen any faster. And I think that's, because they got you thinking you're supposed to be a millionaire. You're supposed to have this. You should be riding a Rolls Royce. You should have this guy, and he should be,
You just started your company. 6 months later, you're supposed to have all the clients in the world and have 100,000 followers and all of that.
And I think that's what happens when people come into my shop and they are aspiring to have a branding or a print shop, and they think that they can take everything at one time that I'm doing and do it right then, and they overwhelm themselves. And it's the saddest thing. It took years for me to get to this point. You can't do what I'm doing overnight. So the relationships I developed, everything.
And it's so funny because I was scrolling. I've known you so long that I think I'm glad I didn't take it for granted as far as my research. But I went down the Shea rabbit hole. Like I was watching
On the social media,
everywhere.
you're not going to get much out of my social media.
But it depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
Right? So
It's more in my captions.
I found videos of you from 14 years ago in your shop showing people how to do DTG. What does it mean?
Yeah.
Like I found a lot of stuff. And to that point, these are videos that were 14 years ago and you was talking about your printing business. And number one, I'm looking at the machines like, dog, the machine she got now versus the machine she had then are like light years ahead. The way you spoke about it, the passion is still there, but it's like it's so evolved now, and I think we got to stop telling people that they got to come in like that.
So I have a young man at my shop, and I got a guy that's 28, and I got a young man that's 30 some years old, and he is constantly at odds with himself about being where he think he should be. And I keep telling him, do you have any student loans or debt? And he goes, no. And I said, and I talked to the guys in the shop,
80%.
I said, man, you ahead of the game. I said, my god sister is my age, and she's still paying off college debt. You don't even understand how far, but he feels like he should be in a place, and I'm like, you gotta slow down. Take that stress off yourself. I'm not saying that, just lay in the bed and wiggle your toes and look at the ceiling all day. I'm just saying that you can just spin your wheels and it doesn't happen, and then one day everything open up.
So if I wanted to start a printing business like yours, what is the steps? How should I start that?
I mean, now it's so many different avenues that you can go. I think you start with one thing and then you grow to the next thing, and that's exactly what I did. Excuse me. You align yourself with people who you can coach, who is coachable to you, right? Or I'm sorry, you're coachable to them, and that's what I did.
Your mentors.
I don't even want to say they're mentors, like Tim, Miss Gwen, Phil, Greg, Rap City Vinyl. I just got around these guys, and it was, for lack of a better word, monkey see, monkey do. They'll get a machine. I'd be like, ooh, I want to do that. And my thought wasn't necessarily of, I'm trying to take something from them. And they never looked at me like that. They looked at it like, if my machine is down, I got Shea as a backup. There's enough room.
On par.
Huh?
You just wanted to be on par.
I just wanted to do whatever. I was so impressed with all the stuff that I wanted to do whatever they were doing. If they had wide format printers, I wanted one. Greg, I said, I'm going to go to school and learn how to wrap cards. He said, sis, let me ask you a question. Why would you do that dumb shit? And I was like, because nobody is going to leave me hanging. Because I had a couple people that were supposed to show up, but he was like, look, send it my way. We'll partner up. I got you. And now he is one of my biggest support system, and we all work the money around.
Does that work?
Yeah.
How do you define passion?
Passion. I feel like it's when you truly enjoy something. It doesn't matter if you get any sleep. It doesn't matter if no one else likes it. Passion is being in love. I mean, in love with, I guess you could say, with a person, your work, whatever. Passion is just being deep in love with something. Imagine when you used to be in love with somebody and they would hurt your feelings. It didn't stop you,
Still want to go cuddle.
You still want to pursue them.
How do you define purpose?
Purpose. Dang. When it's something that defines your life, it has purpose, it has meaning. It's the reason you get up in the morning.
Do you find purpose, or does your purpose find you?
Do you find purpose, or does sometimes we stumble into purpose? I think it's one of those things that you don't necessarily can find.
Y'all ain't never seen these Shea get stumped by questions like this. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you define love?
I don't think love is, I mean, you have to go back to the Bible, where love is patient, is kind, is generous. Love doesn't judge. It's a difference of being in love and loving something. You know, I think love embraces and embodies just you holding it near and dear to your heart, and you don't want anything to happen, and you want to see the best for it.
In a relationship, what's more important, love or like?
Ooh, that's dangerous. I think for a long time, I loved my son, but I did not like him.
That's honest.
I mean, it was a duty. It was a chore. It was constantly battling with somebody. You got to think all the time. We do not like people who we love. You know, it just depends on what context we're putting it in.
In a romantic relationship.
In a romantic relationship, I think it would not work if you. I can't even. Dang. Because like I said, I look at my parents. Are we talking about for the moment, or are we talking about long term? Come on, we split hairs. Oh, you definitely got, I think liking a person is important.
Okay, I'll give you some help.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that one.
I pair like and compatibility together.
Okay.
I compare love and caring together.
But
it's important.
Okay. Yes.
It's very important.
Okay.
But I think there's going to be times where you don't like each other.
But you just said in a stretch.
Hold on.
Okay.
I think there'll be times where you don't like each other. I think there'll be times where you don't love each other. But I think the times where you love each other and don't like each other will be more dangerous.
Wait a minute. Say it again.
The times when you love each other but don't like each other will be the most dangerous.
I can't agree with that.
Because I feel like you said, it's a difference between loving something or loving someone and being in love. I think in love is mental. Like is mental. And I think the brain
No. It's a difference between liking someone and being in love with somebody and loving them.
I know.
It's a difference between in love and love.
I think in love is mental.
That's what I'm saying. You got to be specific.
I think in love is mental.
Yeah, you fall in and out of love all the time.
I think liking is mental. I think love is emotional. But I also feel like when I don't like you,
okay,
I'm more dangerous because I love people I'll never be with again. I love people I'll never consider in a certain way because they're in a box somewhere.
Okay, but there's things that you will do for them, even if you don't like them. There's things that you would do for them that because you love them and you still care about them. You may not like them. No, we're not talking about be with. We're not talking about that.
In a romantic
romantic relationship, yeah, I'm. If I don't like you, I'm not going to be with you. I just can't. I mean, because then it's out of duty. It's out of.
It's debt.
It's out of mechanics, and I don't. That's not where I want to be at this age. I need to be fully happy with a situation in its total, all aspects of it.
So we did passion, purpose, and love. Which one pulls you the most currently?
Passion, purpose, and love. What are we? You You got to put some
Which one pulling you the most?
towards a person as far
No,
as.
in general, in life.
Oh, okay. My purpose.
Explain.
My steps are ordered. As of now, my steps are ordered. So if I run into anybody, whether it's friendship, whether it's anything romantic, and they don't have any direction and they just kind of swirling around the toilet bowl, I don't have time for it. So I have a purpose in life. I have a young man that I need to get out into the world and make sure he's secure and he knows what direction he's going into. And I have two parents that are going into that elderly stage. Right now, they jazzy, man. They moving and popping and but there's gonna be a point where I need to be purposeful in everything I do, making sure they're good, making sure he's good. So that's what's driving me now.
What scares you?
Time.
Explain.
Time. We're running out of time, man. I mean, it's so sad that people don't realize that we don't have much time to get accomplished what we're trying to do. Just think about how fast the year went. How fast October went. It's like October just started and we're already, Halloween is over. The year is over. Time scares me.
So last night I went to an event.
I saw you partying.
I was not partying. I was working.
I can't tell.
I was working.
Looked like a party to me.
This looks like a party.
No, this does not look like a party versus last night, but go ahead.
So I went to a homecoming.
Party.
My cousin was booked to perform, and then one of my other clients was booked to do an appearance.
Okay.
They started shooting, right? 100 yards away, maybe. Like from the stage to the back row or whatever. And it's just outside at a school, right? And I immediately, after it was over, you got to make sure everything. I think my man senses kicked in. Let's make sure everybody's safe. Everybody who came here with me, let me make sure we all in one location. Let's do a head count. Let's do all those things. Immediately after all of those boxes was checked, I was like, I need to go to work. We don't have enough time. And I know, somebody might say, well, you should have naturally said, well, I want to go see my kid or I want to go see
Who
whatever.
said that?
That's what a couple conversations I had
Your
last
kid
night.
wasn't out there, was?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
But they thought I should have been more relieved to get back home to my family than to get back to my purpose, which is the point of my story, is I feel like purpose is what's driving me. And that time is borrowed. And everything is a reminder to me that we don't have enough time. So I don't want to waste time. So I think what scares me is actually not time, but taking it for granted.
Yeah.
I don't. Otherwise, if you give me if somebody told me you only got 25 days left, I'm cool with that. I'm gonna work through those 25 days. I think if I was a person who said you got 25 days left, and I waited to day 20 to start doing whatever the stuff I wanted to do because I've been in my feelings, I would regret that. So my main thing is just not to take time for granted.
I think some people are procrastinators. I think that they don't realize it till it's too late.
And I don't want to be those people.
You don't have to be.
Now, my last question.
Okay. Well, this was painless.
I know. She thought she was worried. Then she started doing her spins. But this is about MUSE as a concept, and what we do here is about honoring Black women who inspire us for more than just how they look or how they work or what they do or who they know or what celebrities. This whole thing is about how do we show the world why this woman is inspiring.
Okay.
But my last question is, if you
I will
was
not marry you.
what?
I'm just playing.
What
a hell of a way to end
I
an
gotta
interview.
get this shit on camera. No, my last question is, in 5 years, assuming we don't take time for granted, what will you be doing?
My life isn't like that. My life has never been like that. I talked to Deja when we were doing makeup, and I've always had a butterfly effect where I have floated from thing to thing, the radio, television. I never had this spider diagram of what I'll be looking like in 5 or 10 years. I never envisioned that I would even be here. So I can't tell you what my life will look like in 5 years. I could not be here in 5 years, and I could be the next president. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just open to the universe and
what
what
it's gonna do.
God has for me. And I'm always keeping my eyes open, and whatever opportunities come up, I don't turn anything down except my collar. And if it's in my moral compass, I'm open. I'm open for it. If somebody says, come on, direct a TV show, let me see how that'll work.
So you would do would you do TV again as
Would I
talent?
be on the television?
As talent?
I would have to be a EP.
Why?
I have to have control
You look
over.
great on TV.
No, I'm not even. I have to have control over my image, because right now, and what I've learned is people can twist it to however is good for
got
them.
full edit power today, right?
Yeah, I don't.
I see your legs start twitching.
I made it out like a fat rat on the TV show that I was on. They turned me into America's Black Sweetheart, and I came out well. Not so much for other people.
What are the Black Sweethearts?
Yeah, but they can paint a picture however they want to paint a
Do you
picture.
still talk to Mike?
Every now and then, Mike called me to do some stuff for he had some Country Wayne skits, and he needed some Vans and stuff wrapped and T-shirts done. I am very good friends with Mike.
How would you grade your TV? Not necessarily your TV experience, but somebody else. How would you grade the experience of reality TV
What are you talking about? My experience or just in general?
in general?
Man, it's a slippery slope. I think they go for the worst. I mean, come on, Zeus
salacious.
TV. Come on, Zeus TV. You got baddies. You got people punching each other in the face. You got, I mean, it's like nobody, not that I'm not above punching anybody in the face. You're just not going to catch it on camera. And there's not going to be anybody.
Your show is the only reality show I've watched in the last 10 years.
Well, I am proud.
And my cousin, the same cousin I was with last night, I think was also on that show.
Who's your cousin?
Smoke from Film Up.
No.
Not with you.
No, he was on Put a Ring on It.
He's on Put a Ring on It. But I didn't watch his.
And you should not. These reality shows, I think there needs to be counseling before and after the shows. But you laughing. You can see the effects. It's some people who see the light and they don't see anything else after the light, and they'll do anything to get the light back. And then you got some people who, I mean, everybody thinks that they're going to turn into Mike. They're going to be on these skits. They're going to turn into this movie star. What people don't know about Mike is Mike worked super hard at, doing auditions and stuff like that. That was his passion. So it turned out well for him. It's hard. Ooh, it's bad. It's bad. I just wasn't going for people. Why did you do it? Well, for one, it did not start off as me going out for that. A young lady that I did auto shows with, she is what you call a recruiter. And they get paid so much for having a head count that they turn in for eligible people. And we worked together, and she said, I'm going to throw your name in the hat. And that's how I got on there. So my thing was, this was the first show on OWN Network, and it was Will Packer's first reality show. So what I didn't want to do is kick myself and not go down there when I could be doing rap gifts. That's my thought. I could go down there and pitch doing a rap, for him in the future. So, or what happens if Oprah show up and I'd be like, damn, I ain't even show up and Oprah was there. So my thing was to go down there, and I purposely gave them hell in the audition. And I was like, well, that didn't go good, after I had cussed everybody out.
So we want her.
I gave everybody the business, and they called me like, I don't know, like a week later, and they kept, and I kept my girlfriend, she works in in LA, and she's executive producer for several shows. And I was like, these people keep calling me, man. What do they want? And she was like, Shea, they want you on a show, and they tricked me. So what I thought I was going to was a mixer. Come on, we're just gonna have a mixer with a couple people, and
Cameras everywhere.
Cameras was everywhere, and I went to back up, and they was like, nah, you here now. But now talking to the executive producers and everybody, they knew the people who wanted to be there, and people like myself got picked up with Ubers and stuff because they were giving me no chance to get in my car and go home, which I would have been done with, because I've never wanted the spotlight like that. And along the way, they were constantly telling me that I was gonna be boring. I said, look, I like one guy, and that's it. I'm not, well, we want you to go on more dates. I ain't going on no more dates. I don't have time for this shit. So let's wrap it up. And I just would not give in. They had set up a date with another guy, and I got in my car and left. I said, I look like y'all wasted y'all time. I'm going home. And at the time, I was working at V103.
What year was this?
This 2018. So I was an on-air personality at V103. I did not give up my gig with Chrysler, so I was flying in and out, still doing auto shows and special events. And I was working at the radio station, and I was working on television, and my theory was, what else I got to do? Might as well see what is going on. So I was stretching myself to capacity.
And when did you end it?
The show ended on my birthday, September the 14th. 2018.
So what's that, 6 years?
6 years ago.
Are you ready for love?
Is love ready for me is the question.
I think that's a good way to end it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Muse of the month. We out.